7 people had a chance to stop this. 7 people didn't. And one American family paid $3.8 million worth of consequences. A neighbor makes a phone call. A dispatcher types an address. A sergeant signs off. A SWAT team stacks up in the dark. And a door, the wrong door, gets blown off its hinges at 2 in the morning. The family inside had done absolutely nothing wrong. Nothing. But that did not stop 12 armed officers from shattering their home, terrorizing their children, and destroying everything they owned. 7 failures. 1 family. $3.8 million. Stay with me, because what happened next will make your blood boil. Marcus and Diana Reeves were not criminals. They were a working couple, 40s, 2 kids, a mortgage, living in a quiet neighborhood on the east side of Columbus, Ohio. Marcus worked second shift at a logistics warehouse. Diana was a school aide. They had lived in that house for 11 years. It was a Thursday night in February. Marcus had just gotten home. Diana was watching television. Their 2 teenage kids were upstairs doing homework. A completely ordinary night. 4 houses down, a neighbor thought he saw something suspicious. He picked up his phone. He dialed 911. He gave the dispatcher a description. He gave the dispatcher an address. And when he read that address, he gave the wrong one. By a single digit. By 1 number. Now here's what the law actually says. The 4th Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees that your home cannot be entered by law enforcement without a warrant that correctly and specifically identifies the exact location to be searched. The right address. The right house. The right family. That is not a technicality. That is the supreme law of this nation. 7 people had the power to catch that one mistake. 7 people had one job. And one family, who had done nothing, suspected nothing, and knew nothing, was about to have their life torn apart because not one of those 7 people did it. Failure number 1. The neighbor dials 911. He tells the dispatcher there is suspicious activity at a house on Maple Ridge Drive. He means number 421. He says 412. 9 digits. 1 transposed number. That is all it takes. Failure number 2. The dispatcher enters 412 Maple Ridge Drive into the system. She does not call the neighbor back to verify. She does not cross-reference the address against prior calls. She dispatches a SWAT unit and moves on. Failure number 3. The shift sergeant receives the SWAT dispatch request. He has the authority to order address verification before any tactical deployment. He does not use it. He stamps the authorization. He sends 12 officers into the night. Failure number 4. 12 officers in full tactical gear roll out. They approach 412 Maple Ridge Drive in the dark. They set up a perimeter. Not one of them knocks on a neighbor's door to confirm. Not one of them runs the address against the property record. Not one of them does the one thing that would have stopped all of this. It is 2:17 in the morning. The Reeves family is asleep. Marcus hears something. A low sound. Movement he cannot place. He opens his eyes. He thinks it is a car in the alley. He swings his feet off the bed. And then the door comes off its hinges. Boom. The frame explodes inward. Flashbang grenades detonate in the hallway. The smoke alarm starts shrieking. Diana screams. She is thrown from the bed onto the floor. Officers are screaming, "Get down. Don't move. Hands where I can't them." Marcus hits the floor. His hands shoot up. He is screaming back, "We live here. This is our house. We live here." Nobody listens. Upstairs, their 17-year-old son hears the chaos. He walks to the top of the stairs. An officer raises a rifle directly at his face. The boy is in his pajamas. He is holding absolutely nothing. Failure number 5. At this point, officers inside that house can see family photographs on the walls. Children's school portraits. A work badge on the kitchen counter. A Bible on the nightstand. Nothing, not one single thing, matches the description from the 911 call. But nobody stops. Nobody says wait. The raid continues. They handcuff Marcus Reeves on his own living room floor. In his underwear. In his own home. For 26 minutes, they hold this entire family at gunpoint. 26 minutes. Before someone finally picks up the radio and says, "And I need you to hear this. Command. I think we might have the wrong house." 26 minutes. That is how long it took. And when those words came over that radio, the rights violated in that house had already been done. The damage had already been done. The trauma had already been done. They knew. And they kept going. But here is where it gets really disgusting. The Columbus Police Department's official response to the raid was not an apology. It was not accountability. It was silence. Cold, deliberate, institutional silence. The kind of silence that only powerful organizations can maintain after they do something this wrong. Failure number 6. Internal Affairs opened a formal investigation into the raid within 24 hours. 48 hours later, just 48 hours, they cleared every single officer involved. Every one of them. Zero discipline. Zero consequence. Their official report concluded that officers followed established protocols and used appropriate force. That report was a corrupt document designed to protect the department, not the truth. The department never contacted Marcus and Diana Reeves to apologize. They never called. They never knocked on that door. The door their officers had already destroyed. They sent nothing. No representative. No statement. Nothing. Until weeks later, when a bill arrived in the Reeves family mailbox from the Columbus Police Department, charging them for the flashbang canisters used during the illegal raid on their home. That is not a bureaucratic error. That is not a clerical mistake. That is a system so corrupt it charges the victims for the weapons used against them. So the Reeves family hired a civil rights attorney, and they filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Columbus, the police department, and the individual officers involved. The federal complaint states that officers violated the family's Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizure. It asserts violations under the 14th Amendment, and it invokes 42 U.S.C. 1983, the federal law that holds government officials personally accountable when they strip away the constitutional rights of American citizens. Their attorney argued that this was not an isolated error. This was systemic negligence, and that every failure, from the dispatcher to the sergeant to internal affairs, was part of a pattern of institutional disregard for the Fourth Amendment rights of the people this department claimed to protect. The amount demanded in that federal complaint? $3.8 million. This is what accountability looks like. As of the time of this video, Reeves v. City of Columbus is active in federal court. No settlement has been reached. The officers who raided that house are still on the force. But here's what matters right now. This case is on the federal record. It cannot be buried. It cannot be quietly dismissed. And every day it moves through that courthouse is a day this family moves closer to justice. You need to understand something about your Fourth Amendment rights. They are not suggestions. They are not optional. They are the legal wall between your family and a SWAT team that does not check the address. And when that wall is torn down, it is our job to make sure the whole country hears about it. If this story made you angry, and it should, hit subscribe. This channel exists to expose every case like this one, every violation, every cover-up, every time a family's rights are destroyed and the system pretends it never happened. Failure number 7? Thinking this can't happen to you.